Most people think Hogwarts is the greatest school of magic ever built. It is not even the largest. J.K. Rowling confirmed on Pottermore that 11 wizarding schools exist across the world, each one a different answer to the same question. What does it mean to be trained in magic? And most of them make what happens at Hogwarts look like the beginning of something much bigger. I want to be honest with you before we go further. When I started pulling together everything Rowling ever published about these schools, I expected to find variations on the same theme, sorting ceremonies, houses, a castle. I was wrong, but here is what I did not expect to find. One school considers the wand a beginner's limitation. Students there are taught to master magic first without one, wandless, through gesture, word, and pure willpower. And only once that foundation is unshakable are wands introduced at all. By then, their level of control surpasses most European graduates completely. We will get to that school, starting with the one you think you know. Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry was founded in the 10th century by four of the most powerful magical minds Britain had ever produced: Godric Gryffindor, Helga Hufflepuff, Rowena Ravenclaw, Salazar Slytherin. Four people who agreed on almost nothing except that the children needed somewhere to go. The castle itself is unplottable. It cannot appear on any map and does not exist to Muggle eyes. Those who wander too close see only ruins. Crumbling stone, something not worth stopping for. Inside, staircases move between classes. Doors require specific approaches. The room of requirement appears only when someone needs it badly enough to earn it. The enchanted ceiling of the Great Hall does not simulate the sky. It mirrors it. Exactly. In real time. At full capacity, Hogwarts holds approximately 1,000 students. 40 new first years are sorted every September by the Sorting Hat. And tuition is free, covered entirely by the Ministry of Magic. Every magical child in Britain and Ireland, regardless of background, regardless of wealth, has access to this school from the moment the letter arrives. That detail matters more than the moving staircases. Hogwarts was designed to be accessible. That was the founding intention. The alumni make the point without commentary. Albus Percival, Wulfric Brian Dumbledore, Tom Marvolo Riddle, Minerva McGonagall, Harry James Potter. Every one of them walked through the same Great Hall, sat in the same classrooms, and left the wizarding world permanently altered. Hogwarts is not the oldest school on this list. It is not the largest, but it is the one that produced both the greatest dark wizard of the century and the boy who stopped him. Same castle, same education. The difference was never the school. Ilvermorny School of Witchcraft and Wizardry sits at the peak of Mount Greylock in Massachusetts. It was founded in the 17th century by Isolde Sayre, a descendant of Salazar Slytherin, who fled persecution in Ireland and built something in the American wilderness from nothing at all. She started with a stone cottage. Her husband, James Stewart, carved the first wands for their students by hand. That is the origin of American wand making, not an industry, a husband making tools for children who needed them. The houses at Ilvermorny are not named after people, they are named after creatures. Thunderbird for the soul of an adventurer, Wampus for the body of a warrior, Horned Serpent for the mind of a scholar, Pukwudgie for the heart of a healer. And the sorting ceremony is unlike anything Hogwarts uses. In the entrance hall, 4 carved statues stand in silence. When a student steps forward, one or more of them respond. The Thunderbird beats its wings. The Horned Serpent's crystal forehead glows. If more than one statue calls for the same student, the final decision belongs to the child. Hogwarts has a hat that makes the choice. Ilvermorny has statues that make an offer. The student decides. That difference is not cosmetic. It reflects something in the culture Isolde Sayre built. She was a refugee who built a school out of survival. The last thing she would have designed is a system that takes the choice away from the child. Beauxbatons Academy of Magic is hidden in the French Pyrenees, and is believed to be more than 7 centuries old. You know it through Fleur Isabelle Delacour, the Tri-Wizard champion from Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. And if you only watched the films, you likely picture it as an all-girls institution. Silks, choreographed entrances, refinement as performance. In the books by J.K. Rowling, Beauxbatons is co-educational. The film chose an aesthetic. The The books never made that distinction. From a distance, the academy appears to gleam, almost crystalline, as though the building catches sunlight differently than stone should. Inside, enchanted statues advise students. The dining halls sparkle. The curriculum focuses on spellwork, healing, and elemental magic. And the school maintains a long-standing relationship with the French Ministry of Magic, which makes it as much a cultural institution as an academic one. The most famous alumnus is Nicolas Flamel, the alchemist who extended his own life to 665 years through the creation of the Philosopher's Stone. Fleur Delacour, who later fought at the Battle of Hogwarts, also trained here. Beauxbatons produces graduates of precision and endurance. They do not walk into a room to be impressive. They walk in already having done the work. Only a small fraction of people watching this have subscribed to Potter Files. If this video is adding something for you, consider subscribing. We go deeper into the wizarding world than anyone else. Now, the school I mentioned at the beginning, Uagadou. If you were selected for Uagadou, you would not receive a letter. You would not receive an owl. You would receive a dream. An enchanted messenger appears during sleep. And when you wake, a stone token is lying in your hand. No parchment, no quill, but no child who has ever woken with that token in their palm has misunderstood what it means. Uagadou is carved directly into the rock of the Mountains of the Moon in Uganda. It is the largest wizarding school in the world. From the outside, it appears as mist or cloud drifting against the mountainside. Those who enter walk through vast courtyards of stone, open-air classrooms, and celestial observatories positioned beneath some of the clearest skies on Earth. Founded over 1,000 years ago. Recognized by the International Confederation of Wizards as one of the most prestigious magical institutions in recorded history. Now here is what I promised you at the beginning. At Uagadou, wands are optional. Students learn to perform magic first through gesture, word, and willpower alone. Pure, wandless control. They reach a level of mastery that most European graduates will never touch, and only after that foundation is completely unshakable are wands even introduced. Think about what that means. Harry Potter spent 7 years at Hogwarts learning to channel magic through a piece of wood. At Uagadou, the wand is not the starting point. It is the extra tool you pick up once you already know what you are doing. Animagus transformation in Europe takes years of dedicated practice. Some wizards attempt it their entire lives and never complete it. At Uagadou, it is almost expected of advanced students. The school has produced some of the most accomplished animagi in wizarding history, and stories of African animagi have spread across the entire magical world. Admission at Uagadou depends on one thing only: magical potential. Not bloodline, not wealth, not geography. Potential. Europe spent centuries gatekeeping magic behind sordid houses and blood records. Uagadou built a school on a mountain, sent dreams to the right children, and asked only, "What can you do?" The Durmstrang Institute is located somewhere in the far north. Most accounts place it in Scandinavia or the Baltic states. The castle is a fortress of dark stone set among icy mountains and frozen lakes. Cold, disciplined, and built to outlast winters that break most people. Founded in the 13th century, Durmstrang is the only wizarding school that formally teaches the dark arts, not defense against them, the arts themselves. Students graduate with an understanding of dark magic that goes further than anything Hogwarts students are even permitted to study. Muggleborns are not admitted. This is not tradition, it is policy, a rule with no exceptions. Durmstrang is the only confirmed school in the wizarding world with an explicit blood purity requirement written into its admissions process. Gellert Grindelwald studied here before being expelled for conducting dangerous magical experiments on fellow students. Igor Karkaroff, a former Death Eater who traded names for his own freedom, later served as headmaster. Viktor Krum, the Bulgarian national seeker, is its most publicly celebrated graduate. The same school. The same training. One became a dark wizard who terrorized Europe. One became a champion. Durmstrang did not make that choice for either of them. It only made sure both of them were dangerous. At Mahoutokoro, your robe tells everyone exactly who you are. Every student receives an enchanted garment on arrival. As magical skill develops, it deepens in color through richer shades, growing darker as mastery grows. When it shines gold, the student is considered fully trained. But if the robe turns white, it means the student has broken magical law or turned to dark practice. Expulsion is immediate, and the disgrace is not something you can hide or explain later. The robe announces it before you say a single word. Mahoutokoro is carved from white jade on the volcanic cliffs of Minami Iwo Jima. By moonlight, the palace glows above the sea. Younger students travel to and from the island on the backs of enchanted storm petrels until the age of 11, when they board full-time. Formal magical study begins at 7 years old. Astronomical theory, precision wand work. The foundations are laid years before most children in Britain and Ireland have even received their Hogwarts letters. Quidditch at Mahoutokoro is not recreational. It is a national obsession. Training is so demanding that Japan's strongest players are consistently drawn directly from the school. Magic is not what you know here. It is what you are. And if those two things are not the same, the robe will say so. Castelobruxo stands inside the Amazon rainforest of Brazil. To Muggles, it appears as a ruined stone temple, swallowed by jungle, forgotten by time. To those who have been invited, the enchantments fall away and reveal a fortress of golden stone, walls that adapt to the forest around them, corridors that breathe. This school predates European colonization of South America. Its foundations are rooted in indigenous magical traditions that existed centuries before any European wizard set foot on that continent. The colonizers brought many things to the Americas. Castelobruxo was not one of them. It was already there. The Amazon is the classroom. Students specialize in herbology, magizoology, and potions. Not from textbooks, from the living things themselves, studied in the environment that made them. The grounds are protected by Kaipora, mischievous spirit-like beings who serve as guardians with a sense of humor. A failed midnight escape from the grounds does not result in detention. It results in a visitor at the edge of your bed. To study at Castelobruxo is to live inside one of the most biodiverse places on Earth, where survival, symbiosis, and magic are not three separate subjects. They are the same subject. Koldovstoretz may not stay in one place. Its location has never been confirmed. Some accounts suggest the school magically relocates every few years, making itself impossible to track by any consistent mapping. Its curriculum draws from Slavic folklore and shamanistic practice, weaving elemental magic and spiritual ritual alongside conventional spellwork in combinations that do not fit neatly into European academic frameworks. Students here are reported to play Quidditch on enchanted trees. Not broomsticks, entire trunks launched into flight. Whether that is literal truth or legend that has grown in the retelling is not entirely clear, but it reflects something real about this school. Koldovstoretz does not position itself within the wizarding world's existing framework. It builds its own, and it does not particularly care whether you believe it. Half school, half myth, and perhaps both of those things at once. Rowling confirmed 11 wizarding schools exist in total. 8 have names. 3 do not. She gave one certainty only. Every continent has representation. Speculation among wizarding scholars points toward an institution in India or Nepal, rooted in Vedic traditions and spellcraft systems that predate European magic by centuries. Another is believed to exist somewhere in the Middle East, drawing on legacies of alchemy and astronomical divination that shaped the foundations of magical understanding across the ancient world. A third is imagined in Oceania, where sea-based magic and navigational enchantment might form the core of the curriculum. These schools are not waiting to be found. They are already operating, training generations of witches and wizards whose magic has never appeared in a Rowling book, never been named in a film, and never been part of the conversation most Harry Potter fans have ever had. That is the part of this world that still makes the scale feel real. The fact that most of the map is still dark. The HBO series is set to premiere on Christmas Day, 2026. Showrunner Francesca Gardner, the Emmy Award-winning writer from Succession. Director Mark Mylod, who directed episodes of both Succession and Game of Thrones. Producer David Heyman, who produced all 8 original Warner Bros. Films. Executive producer J.K. Rowling, who retains full creative oversight. The series is currently committed to adapting the 7 core books, which means it will cover the Triwizard Tournament and Goblet of Fire. 2 schools will appear on screen: Beauxbatons, Durmstrang. Out of 11, the question is not whether those 2 schools make it in. They will. The question is whether the writers treat them as background costume or use the tournament as the opening of something larger. A wizarding world that stretches from the mountains of the moon to the volcanic cliffs of Japan, from the Amazon to a castle that moves. Rowling built 11 schools. A series with a 10-year commitment has enough time to show more than one. Whether it does will tell us whether the people making the show understand what they are actually holding